Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to a deep dive, where we take a whole stack of sources and try and pull out the most important bits of knowledge and insight for you. Today, we're really zoning in on one specific match from the recent Premier League season. It's the final day game between Ipswich Town and West Ham United, back on May 25th, 2025.
Right, the season closer.
Exactly. We've got the match report, some stats, and the analysis sections from the material you shared. Our job really is to walk you through it.
Yeah, highlight the key moments, what the analysis says, and, what the numbers tell us.
Think of it like a shortcut, getting you up to speed on this game and what the sources reckon it meant for Ipswich and West Ham.
And this match, being the last one, it really does feel like a snapshot, according to these sources anyway, kind of reflecting the whole season for both sides.
One heading straight back down, the other finishing, well, mid-table.
Yeah. So looking at the report, the analysis, the stats all together, it gives us a pretty clear view of this specific game and how it fits, into their season stories.
Absolutely. So let's dive straight into the action then, as the match report lays it out. Portman Road was the venue.
Yep. Nearly 30,000 fans there.
Right.
29,771 was the number given. Tim Robinson was the ref.
And the final score,
Yeah.
West Ham won it 3-1.
Yeah. The source actually describes the first half as pretty tepid. Not a lot happening early on.
A few tame efforts, maybe?
Yeah, it mentions Amari Hutchinson for Ipswich, Nicholas Füllkrug for West Ham, but nothing really serious until just before the break.
Okay. And then there's this moment the source really focuses on, isn't there? Just before halftime.
Right. 43rd minute, the source calls it a gift from Ipswich to West Ham.
A gift? What happened?
Sam Morsey gave the ball away. A misplaced pass, apparently, in a really bad spot.
Okay.
And Jarrod Bowen was right onto it, drove forward, squared it for James Ward-Prowse.
Easy finish.
Sounds like it. Simple tap-in, pretty much. Made it 1-0 to West Ham going into halftime.
And that specific moment, the analysis section, really picks up on that later, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's highlighted as, a really critical mistake. Shows how quickly things can unravel at this level if you make those errors. Became a big talking point in the source's post-match view.
Right. So halftime, 1-0 West Ham. You'd think Ipswich might come out a bit flat, but nope.
No, they hit back pretty quickly, actually. 52nd minute, Nathan Broadhead.
What did he do?
Found some space, darted towards the goal, and fired low past Fabianski. Jens Kajuste got the assist.
Okay, 1-1 then. Game on.
Game on. For about 3 minutes, West Ham responded almost straight away.
Really? Who this time?
Jarrod Bowen, again, 55th minute,
Yeah.
dribbled in from the right wing,
Oh.
crashed an effort inside Walton's near post. Powerful shot. Aaron Wan-Bissaka set that one up. So, boom, 2-1 West Ham.
Wow, quick turnaround. So Ipswich are chasing the game again. Did they look like getting another...
They kept pushing, trying to salvage something, but West Ham put the game to bed near the end.
The third goal?
Yep. 87th minute, Bowen and Kudus whipped it past Walton. Guido Rodriguez with the assist on that one. 3-1. Game over, really.
Any other incidents mentioned? Cards?
Yeah, a couple of yellows noted. Maximilian Kilman for West Ham around the 35th minute. And Liam Delap for Ipswich much later, 81st minute.
And subs. I assume there were changes.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of subs listed for both teams in the second half. Managers trying to change things or maybe give some players a final run out.
Okay, interesting. And what about how they lined up? The source gives the formations.
It does. Ipswich apparently went with a 4-2-3-1. 4 defenders, 2 holding midfielders.
Right, 3 attacking mids behind the striker.
Exactly. Walton in goal. Then Twanzebe, Leif Davis, Jacob Greaves, Dar O'Shea across the back.
Midfield.
Morsey and Kajust holding.
Yeah.
Then Hutchinson, Chaplin, and Broadhead supporting George Hurst up top. That's who's listed anyway.
Gotcha. And West Ham. Different shape.
Yeah, they set up in a 3-1-4-2, according to the source. 3 at the back, 1 anchor midfielder.
So Fabianski in goal.
Then Mavropanos, Kilman, and Jean-Claire Todibo as the center backs. Edson Alvarez sitting in front of them.
In the midfield 4?
Looked like Scarles, Ward-Prowse, Wan-Bissaka, and Soucek across the middle, with Bowen and Füllkrug as the front 2.
And the report lists all the subs and officials, too. The VAR team, everything.
Yep, all the details are there. Tim Robinson, the main ref. Assistants, VAR, the lot.
Okay, so that's the blow-by-blow from the report. Let's switch gears now to the analysis. What did the sources make of all this? There's that section called Same Old Story for Town.
Yeah, that title tells you a lot, doesn't it? It frames this match as basically Ipswich's whole season in 90 minutes.
How so?
Well, it suggests that, look, McKenna's team, they weren't totally outplayed. They managed to keep West Ham contained for bits of the game.
There's always a but.
But yeah, They struggled again to really create clear-cut chances. That final third problem.
And the errors.
That's the killer point the analysis makes. Their effort was, and I quote, ruined by avoidable errors.
Morsey's pass being Exhibit A.
Exactly. The source points right at it. Says those kinds of individual mistakes cost them all season long, especially playing against the better teams.
Tough lesson for a team just back in the top flight.
For sure. The analysis does mention Broadhead's goal gave him a bit of life, a spark.
But then Bowen struck back.
Right. And the analysis says they were punished once again by the in-form Bowen. The implication being maybe Ipswich just lacked that kind of consistent, game-changing quality themselves this season.
And the conclusion for Ipswich in that section, pretty grim.
Yeah, quite stark. Finished with only 22 points, lowest ever tally for them in the 3 points per win system. First season back up in 22 years, ends in relegation.
Ouch. Any positive spin?
Just a small note, really. Suggests the experience, however tough, will hopefully stand them in good stead back in the championship next season.
Okay, so the takeaway seems clear. A decent effort maybe, but undone by mistakes and a lack of bite. Now let's flip it. West Ham's analysis section. Bowen brilliance gives Potter hope.
Yeah, no prizes for guessing the focus there. It's all about Jarrod Bowen.
What does it say about him?
Well, it mentions him coming back from that foot injury he picked up in January. Describes him as playing with a fire in his belly.
Okay.
And it even suggests his displayed here was maybe a nod to England boss Thomas Tuchel, perhaps showing what he can do after being left out recently. That's the source's take on his motivation, obviously.
Interesting angle. And it talks about his consistency.
Big time. Contrasts it with West Ham's overall form under Graham Potter, which the source implies has been a bit up and down. But Bowen, since coming back in February, the source states he's scored or assisted in 11 of his 15 league games. That's impressive.
Very. And his goal in this game.
Called a cracker. And they also mention his stunning volley the week before against Forest, so highlighting his quality finishes.
So the opinion in this analysis is pretty high on him then.
Extremely high. Calls this another top-class performance. Goes as far as suggesting he's marking himself out as one of West Ham's best ever Premier League performers. Strong words.
Wow, okay. And the conclusion for West Ham?
Basically that while the team maybe hasn't fully clicked under Potter yet, he'll be really hoping his talisman, Bowen, can carry this form into next season and lead the way.
So, quite different narratives from the same game. One team's season summed up by errors, the other finding hope in a star player. Let's bring in some stats now, see how they fit. Goals for the season. This snapshot shows Bowen leading West Ham.
Yeah, with 13 goals listed here. For Ipswich, Liam Delap had a good season personally, 12 goals. And Tomas Souček chipped in with 9 for West Ham.
And assists. Bowen features highly there too.
Yep, top for West Ham, again with 8 assists according to this data. Wan-Bissaka next for them with 5. And Jack Clark led Ipswich with 4.
So those numbers definitely underline Bowen's importance to West Ham's attack, like the analysis said.
Absolutely. He is involved heavily in their goals.
What about defensive stats? Tackles won.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka tops the list shown here with 70 tackles. Sam Morsey, despite that error, was right up there for Ipswich with 69. And Lucas Paqueta for West Ham had 66. Shows the work rate in midfield and defense.
Right. And the head-to-head record included. Does that tell a story?
It does paint a picture of West Ham dominance recently. Over the last 10 meetings listed, only 1 win for Ipswich, 5 for West Ham, and 4 draws.
And last couple.
Both West Ham wins. This 3-1 and a 4-1 hammering back in October 2024.
And the form guide leading up to this final game.
Yeah, that reinforces the trend too. Ipswich's recent results were listed as loss, 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 draw, loss. Pretty bleak run.
Compared to West Ham?
More mixed for them.
Yeah.
Win, loss, win, draw, loss. So neither team was exactly flying, but West Ham were picking up more points recently.
Which kind of fits with the final result, I suppose. Ipswich struggling, West Ham having enough quality on the day.
Seems that way. And the result confirmed, West Ham finished 14th, safe in mid-table. Ipswich ended up second from bottom, relegated.
So, okay.
Yeah.
We've gone through the match report, the play-by-play. We've looked at how the source material analyzed it, framing it as this microcosm of the season for both sides.
Yeah, errors and lack of cutting edge for Ipswich.
And Bowen's individual brilliance carrying hope for West Ham.
Exactly. And we've seen how some of the stats provided seem to back up those narratives.
It really does highlight those fine margins, doesn't it? The impact of one mistake, the difference one player like Bowen can make, and how a single game can feel like it sums everything up.
Yeah, the sources definitely used this match to hammer home those key themes for both clubs. The costly errors for Ipswich, the reliance on Bowen for West Ham, even amidst inconsistency elsewhere.
So thinking about all that, everything this source material shows us about this one game and how it supposedly reflects the whole season does make you wonder, doesn't it?
What's that?
Well, how much can one match, even the very last one, really tell you about the entire story of a 38-game season? Especially when you've got one team going down and the other just finishing mid-table. What really stands out to you when you look at all these details together?